So what do other comics make of Scottish independence? Well, before Eddie Izzard takes to the stage, his audience will be warmed up by Scottish comedian Andy Todd, who supports the Better Together campaign. Earlier I spoke to him and to comedian Fern Brady, who'd like to see Scotland gain independence. And I began by asking Fern what she thought of Eddie Izzard going north to convince Scots to stay in the Union.
I'm tired of English people love bombing us to try and get us to come back. We've had 300 years of a union and it's not really persuaded us. I think we're completely separate as a culture.
You don't find it flattering that people saying don't go?
No, not at all. Like, put it this way, I went to Edinburgh University that has a lot of posh Southern English Tories, and when I was there they used to have State of the Union dinners, and it was the same young Tories that would berate the commoners and the locals. So they had their chance to prove that they loved Scottish people then, and I don't buy it.
Andy Todd, I mean, what is your pitch to the audience at this gig tonight?
Well, we're really looking at the best of both worlds. Well, I think we share a common culture, and there's a very good example with that with James Bond. James Bond is the quintessential English spy, but everyone knows the best Bond was Scottish.
You're a pro-independent Scot based in London. What's going to happen to you?
I don't think they're going to boot me out. They don't boot any of the other immigrants out. But from a cultural viewpoint, put it this way, I get a lot of laughs doing gigs in England by playing up to Scottish stereotypes and doing a sort of blackface for English people where slag off being Scottish, and I don't like it. I feel like we're colonised by England. And I just find it depressing because I'm not a self-loathing Scot.
And why are you ultimately against independence?
I'm not against independence. I'm for the best of both worlds. I think that a strong United Kingdom is better than having Scotland go it alone. Alex Salmond talked about Scotland's future in their Scottish Government's white paper. That paper set out a vision of the future which said that one day that Scotland could be as big and as powerful as Norway. That's not ambition to me. Eddie Izzard talks about Scotland and the United Kingdom being part of a family. I think Scotland's a bit like your younger brother. And the way the Yes campaign has set out their promises is like your younger brother coming to you and saying that he's now living alone just because he set up a tent in the garden.
Fun.
I feel more like Scotland's a battered wife trying to escape domestic abuse, and England's now trying to beg for us to come back, pleading that they'll change. And it isn't going to happen. We've had 300 years of it and it isn't working. On April Fool's Day, The Guardian had stuff mocking us, saying that Alex Salmond's head was on coins. And sorry to seem humourless as a comedian, but it's getting a bit old.
What do you think the impact will be of Eddie Izzard's campaign then?
Well, I hope that Eddie is able to highlight just the strengths that we have as a United Kingdom, the shared bonds that we have, and anything that he can do to throw a spotlight on that is fantastic.
Isn't there a problem, though, with the comedian being fundamentally pro-establishment?
Well, I think the establishment in Scotland is the Scottish Government and the Yes campaign and the SNP. So, in fact, Eddie is actually anti-establishment up here.
Well, is it the anti-establishment thing to be pro-union?
No. So, no, I don't think it is at all. Do you not think it's no coincidence that Eddie Izzard comes from a posh background and now he's moving into politics more and he returns to this pro-union stance? It's Tories that want a union.
Well, I think that Eddie's profile will give the campaign a real boost with showing just what this means for the rest of the United Kingdom. This is an issue that is purely for the Scottish people, but it affects more than that. And I think that those voices from outside of Scotland should be heard, and we should listen to those as well.